When news broke of the old man's death, few could have predicted the shocking twist that followed. Overnight, Corey's life changed forever, from modest living to unimaginable wealth. What he inherited wasn't just money, but a collection of rare and astonishing treasures that left everyone stunned. From secret properties to priceless heirlooms, the fortune revealed a story of mystery, legacy, and unexpected power. Here are the 9 incredible things Corey inherited, and how one man's passing turned into the biggest turning point of Corey's life. I wake up and work with the same individuals. The house and car I drive to work are nicer now, but it's mostly the same. The old man is perhaps my biggest challenge. Did you know Richard the Old Man Harrison's death didn't end an era? Corey Harrison got filthy rich. Pawn Star's success is rooted in wealth, legacy, and startling familial twists. What did Corey get from his legendary grandfather? Who was covertly left out of the will? From fancy cars to life-changing fortunes, fans underestimate the truth. In this video, we disclose Corey's 9 extraordinary inherited items, including money can't buy secrets. 9. His relentless work ethic was the most defining attribute Richard the Old Man Harrison passed on to his grandson Corey. The old man valued hard labor after decades of personal struggle, military duty, and entrepreneurial fortitude. His journey from Navy veteran to co-founder of the world-famous gold and silver pawn store required determination, discipline, and reluctance to take the easy way out. It was remarkable that the old man was so dedicated to his business. His streak of never missing work since 1994 reflected his character. His dedication was inspired by pride in his work and the gratification of honest work. Growing up under such an example shaped Corey. Watching his grandfather arrive every morning, rain or shine, healthy or fatigued, taught him that success takes consistency and determination, not talent or luck. Corey adopted this mindset early and worked hard and observed at the pawn store to rise to the top. Despite being relatives, the old guy never gave him privileges. He made Corey work and be accountable to get forward. Corey felt responsible and proud of his efforts with this tough love approach. He eventually developed his grandfather's habits of being early, staying late, and paying attention to every business. Like the old guy, Corey learned that hard effort pays you in money and respect because you know you gave it your all. Even after Pawn Star's stardom, Corey remained humble like his grandfather because success and reputation depended on daily training. Resilience through trials proved the old man's loyalty to this lesson. He and his wife were financially enslaved after the Navy and lost much of their cash in the 1980s real estate meltdown. Instead of falling, the old guy rose up and started a gold and silver coin shop, which would become a pawn shop empire. His resilience, his ability to start over, taught Corey that failure isn't final if you don't quit. Old Father taught him to face misfortune and use it to show himself. Corey's career shows this. His struggles have made him stronger, and like his grandfather, he has persevered with purpose. If you think the old man's death made Corey rich, wait until after. Unbelievable. 8. Boss personality, leadership. Richard, the old man, Harrison, was a commanding yet composed employer who set the tone for everyone at the gold and silver pawn store. The old man's authority as family and company patriarch stemmed from experience, discipline, and a strong sense of fairness. Family and co-workers respected him not only because he set directives, but because he lived by the same standards. He was cool and confident while dealing with clients, inventory, or shop disputes. This strategy became a Harrison Empire leadership model. Of all his employees, his grandson Corey most embraced this leadership style. From his first years in the shop, Corey saw the old guy exude authority and warmth. The old man was tough when needed, but light-hearted with his dry humor. These 2 attributes taught Corey that strong leadership requires respect and approachability. Thus, when it was time for Corey to take on greater responsibility, especially as the old man began to step back from daily operations, his character began to follow his example. Corey became the gold and silver pawn shop's full-time manager, overseeing daily operations, employee management, and significant business decisions. He learned to lead by witnessing the old guy handle difficult circumstances calmly and forcefully over time. Like his grandfather, Corey led with sternness and decisiveness. He discovered that a successful business relies on many tough, regrettable, but timely decisions. Corey believed the old guy would have fired an underperforming employee. In addition to occasionally wielding power, Corey valued staff development. Corey followed the old man's leadership by example, training his crew through tough times and rewarding hard work. Corey's toughness and fairness earned him recognition as the boss's grandson and a capable leader. He managed the shop, which had insomnia but was still one of the world's most prosperous pawn shops. 7. The family estate. After Richard, the old man Harrison, died, the family estate became a symbol of his financial success and the Harrison family's closeness. The estate was more than a home. It symbolized years of hard labor, perseverance, and the rewards of constructing something worthwhile from humble beginnings. After rising from humble roots in North Carolina to founding the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas, the old man's capacity to care for his family was remarkable. After his death, his loved ones divided the estate, and Corey Harrison, his grandson and Pawn Stars co-star, received partial ownership to preserve the family's physical and emotional history. Rick Harrison, the elderly man's son and Corey's father, was appointed estate executor to oversee and maintain it. Corey's co-ownership was ceremonial, like passing the torch from one generation to another, a sign the elderly man was repaying Corey's trust and loyalty to the state. To Corey, inheritance was more than houses, goods, and money. About continuity. The land is a tangible reminder of his grandfather's influence and a lasting connection to the man who, perhaps inadvertently, shaped his life personally and professionally. It was a physical anchor for the family, blending past and present. The Harrison family mansion had another Pawn Stars episode, which made them famous worldwide. With theatrical success, Old Man was supposed to move from Las Vegas's hectic streets to a more comfortable and richer home to signify decades of pawn business effort. Despite fame and wealth, the old man persisted. Family was his priority. Corey was included in the estate for that reason. The family, unity, and shared ownership belief. It meant that the Harrison name would reflect their hard work, commitment, and entrepreneurial drive that propelled them to success. It also made Corey part of the family legacy. Who would inherit stewardship, not wealth? Although you may have heard it all, the elderly man's death made Corey affluent beyond expectations. The old man Harrison loved classic vehicles, among other things. He accumulated a large collection of antique cars that mirrored his success and personality. Classic, old, and charming. The 1963 Chrysler Imperial, 1966 Imperial Convertible, 1962 Cadillac Sedan DeVille, and 1957 Chevrolet 150 were in his garage, a living museum of American automobile history. Each car's narrative was related to its age and the old man's memories. Not only expensive stuff, they were handcrafted and nostalgic, reminding him of post-war autos that symbolized independence, pride, and achievement. Old Man was always partial to vehicles. Pawn Stars followers and his family knew his love of cars, cared about cars. From chrome finishing to upholstery, he maintained everything. He liked his 1955 Ford F-100 pickup and 1937 Oldsmobile because they showed his admiration for simple, durable design. More than merely beautiful, these cars reminded him of his youth when he was poor and struggling to make ends meet. His 1962 Lincoln Continental, given to him on Pawn Stars by his son Rick and grandson Corey, was his most memorable car. It cost over $25,000 to restore as a beautiful homage to their love and respect for him. That automobile connected Harrison generations with its iconic doors and lines. When the old man died, His cars carried memories and values beyond metal and motors. It was never revealed which family members received which vehicles, although Corey is believed to have kept some of this prized collection. As someone who shared his grandfather's love of craftsmanship and American tradition, the automobile gift would have been meaningful. Corey treasured these cars as family heirlooms and mementos of the guy who taught him hard labor, history, and the thrill of collecting stories. A car may have worth to some, but the old guy valued durability, elegance, and longevity. 5. Counterfeit detection. One of Corey Harrison's greatest gifts from his grandfather, Richard the Old Man Harrison, was the unusual ability to spot true riches from fakes. Pawnbroking requires this talent. Every day, the gold and silver pawn business receives jewelry, antiques, and historical relics. The difference between a real and fake collectible might be thousands of dollars. Nobody understood this better than the old man. After decades in the business, he instinctively understood craftsmanship, materials, and provenance. It was wisdom gained through experience, bargaining, and mistakes, not just book knowledge. Because of his upbringing, Corey learned to see past the surface and trust his judgment. From an early age, Corey has witnessed his grandfather evaluate worth and authenticity quietly. The old man handled items by sliding them in and out of his hands, feeling their weight in his palms, and noticing little details most people miss. He taught Corey that authenticity is in the details, whether it was a coin's patina or a coat's stitching. Corey eventually adopted the same tendencies, turning observation into intuition. By Pawn Star's fame, the public knew Corey's repute. Inconsistencies, origin myths, and seller claims were routinely challenged by him. The shop and show viewers trusted Corey because he could recognize fakes, even though he wasn't as accurate as his grandfather. Beyond item recognition, this innate talent distinguishes itself by recognizing people. The old man is right. A pawnbroker is about reading the face across the counter, not just the objects. A phony story could signify a fake product. Corey would also learn the delicate mix of distrust and empathy, that not everyone was fooling him, and that honesty had to be proven. This mindset helped him run the family business without excessive losses and maintain the professional integrity of the gold and silver pawn shop, making the ability to recognize fakes a way of life. Real people, not objects, are understood. Trust, bargaining, and centuries of hard labor have powered the Harrison family's Las Vegas gold and silver pawn shop. The shop, founded in 1988 by Richard, the elderly man, Harrison, and his son Rick, started as a small, modest operation before becoming one of the world's most famous pawn shops, thanks to the History Channel's Pawn Stars. The shop's culture and business practices were shaped by the old man's calm, authoritative presence. He influenced every business behind the counter with care and fairness. But as aging slowed him down, the old guy made sure his legacy continued smoothly. He prepared his grandson, Corey Harrison, to head the shop before his death, ensuring the family business's longevity. One of the old man's most purposeful and important mentorship traits was this steady transition of responsibility. He believed in hands-on learning, letting Corey make errors and learn from them rather than protecting him from business realities. After sweeping floors, cleaning display cases, and helping clients, Corey began negotiating deals and coordinating crucial transactions. The old man taught him the shop's ideals with each step: integrity, accuracy, consistency. By the time his grandfather died, Corey was a vital part of the shop's daily operations, trusted by Rick and the staff. This foresight prevented the often disruptive transition of leadership after a founder's departure, and preserved the shop's stability and prosperity. Though the old man's death started a new era in the family, Rick and Corey would manage the gold and silver pawn business individually as they divided authority. Rick, as the building's owner, planned huge moves. Corey became the shop's full-time manager, overseeing daily operations. With the rise of the old man, Rick focused on the business's face and larger matters, while Corey handled underground planning and day-to-day operations. The shop thrived under joint administration, keeping its status as a Las Vegas treasure in pop culture and commerce. Some of the raw old man showed up in practically every area of daily life, from respect between deal makers to respecting antique craftsmanship's history or timeliness. The Harrison family's unity and strength are symbolized by the gold and silver pawn shop. Every item, like the family, has a story. For Corey, keeping part of the firm went beyond ownership, to honor the founder and perpetuate the heritage. Corey works day and night to spread the old man's ideas and prove that hard work and family can make it happen. This notion emerges as a memorial to the old man's life and a sign of success that spans generations, indicating that his facts and ideas power every deal completed in familiar walls. Richard, the old man Harrison, gave his grandson Corey many gifts, but his 21 years in the Navy taught him life lessons. Before becoming famous on Pawn Stars, the old man was a sailor who learnt discipline, duty, and tenacity the hard way. His Navy experience affected his viewpoint and business and family values. He learnt to adapt, follow protocol, and accept responsibility after serving on many ships and missions. These experiences taught him respect for organization and hard work, which he carried after the military. Growing up with his grandfather meant learning those principles through his everyday example of honesty and consistency, not lectures. Corey's work ethic was inspired by old man's determination and endurance. He taught his grandson that success took time. It takes patience, effort, and the desire to persevere. At the gold and silver pawn store, the old guy always talked about his Navy days and told Corey that leadership requires strength and humility. The old guy had endured long deployments at sea or in other military operations and the difficulty of raising a family on a low salary after military service. He used such events to grow character and perspective, not harden. He taught Corey that life is about endurance, staying the course when things are uncertain. That mindset shaped Corey's company, leadership, and life. Besides discipline, the old guy taught Corey teamwork and hierarchy, which are necessary in the family company but learnt in the Navy. Like a Navy ship, each member of the pawning business has a role, and teamwork and respect are key to success. Old Guy always reminded Corey that leadership is identifying people's strengths and helping them become their best. Corey's forceful, fair, empathic leadership style developed from the lesson. Just like the old man trusted his shipmates to do their jobs, Corey would soon trust his staff to run the shop while maintaining high standards. Military ideals derived from commercial leadership defined the Harrison family throughout generations via common purpose and respect for structure. Secondly, money. At his death, Richard, the old man Harrison, had an estimated $8 million net worth. The consequence of decades of hard labor, wise business decisions, and his involvement in making Pawn Stars a global phenomenon. This fortune took years of hard work, resilience, and management. The old man persevered and strategically grew from his Navy troubles to running a modest pawn shop with few resources. When he died in 2018, his family received part of his estate, including financial holdings and investments. Rick, his son, was the estate's chief administrator, carrying out his father's desires. Corey Harrison received a portion of his grandfather's riches, symbolizing trust and recognition of his role in the Harrison family tradition. Corey received more than money from the old man. He inherited responsibility and legacy. Corey learnt to see money as a tool for stability and opportunity after working with his grandfather for years. Instead of boasting about his wealth, the old man lived quietly and used his money to support his family, run his business, and invest prudently. That culture also determined how Corey handled his inheritance. He saw it as an addition to the elderly man's business lessons, not fresh wealth. Values like thrift, long-term thinking, and hard effort. Each dollar had a purpose. His grandfather worked long hours to build a profitable family business. The old man's attitude and orderliness showed his methodical and procedural will. Most of his immediate family was in his Walang Kaparis will. had to painfully exclude his son Christopher from the inheritance. This shows the old man's concern for family fairness and accountability, shocking some. His will precisely names his beneficiaries, eliminating estate disputes after his death. This bequeathing shows Corey as a grandfather-trusted guy, not just a family favor. This validates years of hard labor, loyalty, and dedication to the family business. Watch for our top inheritance. Fans will be shocked that the old man's death made Corey rich. Memory and family legacy. Beyond wealth, property, and company, Richard the Old Man Harrison gave Corey Harrison the most precious gift, memories and a family legacy. These recollections go beyond photos and Pawn Stars. Working with his granddad shaped Corey's heartfelt memories. Old Man was more than a business associate. His mentorship, fatherhood, and guidance shaped Corey's identity. They worked long days behind the gold and silver pawn shop counter. Numerous negotiations and fun family moments to offset fame's pressures. Those experiences shaped Corey's views on life, family, and legacy. Their laughter, lessons, and companionship still fill the pawn store. Even though the old guy is gone, his presence is felt. Corey got the Harrison family spirit by inheriting those memories. Subjected to such things, Corey's actions reflected his grandfather's regard, honesty, and resilience. The old man missed his lesson because he was taught through humorous yet wise anecdotes. He emphasized that success without humility was hollow. Family should trump fame. These lessons affected everything related to Corey, not simply the shop's business operations. In his mind, his grandfather's voice listens to everything Corey does, from his interactions with fans and staff to his personal decisions. Pawn Stars has immortalized the old man through culture. The old man's genuineness and humor made the program an icon of enterprise and Americana from a small family business. His no-nonsense, dry-as-dust demeanor made him a fan favorite, but his honesty resonated with nationwide audiences. Corey finds it simpler to maintain family continuity on that show than stardom. It preserves his grandfather's work and values. Each show honors elderly man's influence, ensuring future generations see the concepts.